What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Ducks and Download. In this Comic Communications, we're going to be going over The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2 comic book, and the amazing, beautiful, and vicious finale to Darth Vader, Black, White, and Red. I was able to pick up an absolutely gorgeous variant cover right out of the art for a very scene from this show. And I have to say, I feel like as a comic book, this was a way better pace than in the episode itself. The episode felt drawn out. The comic flew by with a lot of action and great moments. Being more condensed, this episode did fantastic as a comic. Well, it opens up with the Mandalorian being attacked by Tatooinean raiders after he's gotten the armor from Cobb Vanth. They destroy his speeder bike and try to take his gear, even holding Grogu by knife point, until of course he offers his jetpack as payment, and the jetpack, being programmed by Mando, is able to launch the assailant into the air and drop him from who knows how high until he thuds onto the earth below. Saving his soon-to-be son, the Mandalorian is going to carry all of these goods back to Mos Eisley to meet up with Peli Motto. She seems to be very deep into a game of sabacc with Dr. Mandible, who might actually have some information for Mando about a few other Mandalorians, or at least somebody who might know where they are. Well, this is when we find out that Peli has set up a nice little meet and greet between Mando and the passenger, the Frog Lady, who's trying to meet her husband, who has reported seeing people just like the Mandalorian on the planet they need to get to. Mando is totally against this until he's talked into it, simply for the fact that he'll finally get to see other Mandalorians, and it should be just a simple courier run. The major problem, of course, is that they can't take hyperspace as she is traveling with a clutch of her young eggs. While on the way there, the New Republic will stop Mando, demanding, of course, licensing and all that kind of stuff, which he doesn't have. It's the main reason he has the Razor Crest. It's pre-Republic. It shouldn't have to be on any records. Looking to keep it that way, he takes off, ensuing a chase that will cause them to crash into the ice cavern where the rest of this comic will take place. Well, after finding Grogu, of course, devouring many of these younglings, he's going to help Frog Lady set up in a nice, warm, natural hot spring that they found deep within the cave. Shooing Grogu away, Grogu finds the villain of this episode, the ice cave spiders. Well, they begin to hightail it out of there, Mando doing everything he can to protect all of them as they run, even Frog Lady having to bust out a blaster and save Grogu from being swarmed by little spiders, getting revenge for their brother. All hope seems almost lost as the giant mama cave spider is bashing through the cockpit entrance, trying to get at the juicy meat inside to feed to her and all of her offspring, until the New Republic shows up in their X-Wings, blasters firing full fury, and we get to see it from a different point of view. Whereas in the show, we saw it more from Trapper Wolf's point of view. In this one, we're going to be seeing it more from Carson Teva's. But after all of that, they take the ragtag ship that has been beaten almost completely to smithereens by these spiders and begin to slowly limp their way to the last bit of this mission, where in the next episode we'll finally get to see Koska Reeves, Axe Woves, and Bo-Katan. I can't wait to see the covers for that issue. And now, guys, on to the finale for Vader, Black, White, and Red. And what a gorgeous variant cover I got. If there's any other reason you Sith and Vader lovers should go pick up this 4-comic run, it is for nothing else aside the absolutely stellar art and bone-chilling ways that Vader has been shown in just 3 shades. I thought the finale for Hard Shutdown was going to be the last issue. Turns out it's in the finale of the whole run. Hard Shutdown's going to end with Sin's goons getting taken out right and left from a smoky shadow, until eventually Vader summons his lightsaber to his grasp, slowly marching on Sin. He reminds him that one of his many weaknesses was that he is nothing but the son of the man who built him, while Vader is no man's son, of course having no father, being born truly of the Force and Shmi. Sin, of course, will try to act tough and laugh like Vader can't do anything to him that his father didn't already do. And that's when Vader then does the same thing that Sin did to him and shuts him down. When Sin comes back to, he is being surrounded by ravenous, disgusting slug-like bugs known to devour flesh slowly. Vader holds him there talking about how he will feel every single moment. He can't move, but he can sit there and understand that his greatest weakness, the thing he should have realized that made this ultimately his loss, is that, as Vader puts it, I am Darth Vader. You are not. What other weakness could anyone else have besides not being the Lord Vader himself? But from there, we're going to go on to a very amazing fight where Vader almost seems like he's going to get taken to his knees until he pulls out that hatred that we all know lies within skin deep. Within the Inhabitant, Vader is on what he sees, a totally beautiful, flourishing planet with great minerals, but no life forms. Telling the people to begin a mining operation, Vader then returns to his ship to get into the bacta tank to not only heal and rest from being in the suit, but to also have a decontamination process, as being on a new planet, they have no idea what pathogens might lie. That is when things actually start to alarm, as a pathogen is actually found within the bloodstream of Vader, and he starts to convulse, going into a almost meditative state as we begin to see this grotesque spore, fungal almost looking monster summon Vader into his own mind. In Vader's mind, he's going to meet this infection, this singular entity that is not just the only inhabitant of the planet, but seems to be the very essence of the planet itself, putting it into every rock, every leaf, and every footstep, saying that it wasn't that hard for it to infect Vader's respiratory system and attach to the very base of his brainstem, and that's where it's going to try and attack him. That's where it's going to take control and kill him. And that's where this great monster, this beast known as Gaimnon or Gimnon on planet Vokara. Is he a single cell organism? Is it a hive mind type of situation? Yes, apparently it is all of those and everything. One mind, Gimnon, is just the entity of destruction that has apparently laid waste to multiple others that have tried to lay siege to his planet. Like all the other conquerors, he begins to beat Vader in a bloody battle. Vader tries to use the Force. It is to no avail. He says he is the Force and begins to hammer down on Vader, really throwing him around like a rag doll. He has had many people try to conquer him and his planet, and he has in turn conquered every single one of them. And Vader will simply be another name added to that list. Saying so, calling Vader useless. Vader even says, "You underestimate me," and he is so cocky in his power, he says, "I think not," hurling Vader into this blazing fiery inferno of apparently fear and pain that he has created in Vader's mind. But in one of the most beautiful panels I've seen from the entire series, just from the raw power it really shows, Vader begins to step from this fire, living in it, harnessing it, letting it consume him with no worry. This fire of pain, isolation, and fear, though, consumes Vader, and he lets it. He dives into it. He bathes in it. He speaks to this beast as he might be the will of this planet. There is will, and then there is me. The infection begins to speak out. Again, he has conquered so many before Vader. He will not be defeated by this one until Vader grabs his blade and crushes it in his grasp, while still on fire, telling this single-celled, impotent infection that he has done nothing but feed Darth Vader. Fear, pain, those are not things that he will ever shy from. Those are fuel for his furnace for the dark side. He creates a saber out of pure hatred and slays the infection within him. What an amazing scene. We then see it pull back as he's in the bacta tank, releasing this red, ooze, almost blood-like infection from his eyes into the bacta till it is sizzled away and eaten up by the anti-contamination process within the bacta tank. From there, Vader and the rest of his crew in full hazmat will go to the planet side and begin to bathe it in acid, as of course he defeats any enemy put before him and the Empire. And this last one was absolutely gorgeous in its penmanship. A very easy story to tell, but not that it's a soft story. It was a very fun one and very action-packed. Almost for the first time ever, I felt worried for Darth Vader. Vader's out on what seems to just be like a simple flying mission, and then a general contacts him talking about one of his probe droids has gone missing, has been attacked on Hoth in the old rebel base. Well, Vader, not about to be told that he didn't clear out all the rebels, is going there to look for it himself. What does he find? Wampas. Wampas have destroyed the droid and then lay siege on him, two of them attacking him. He de-arms one and the other is able to get up behind him and destroy his chest plate, almost entirely rendering his breathing obsolete. Now worried, he completely decimates the other Wampa and runs back to his ship, hoping to get resealed and repaired, only to find several more Wampas on the ship, beating it to a pulp. From there, he again has to run, but is only outmaneuvered, as of course these Wampas have home field advantage. He tries to run to one of the downed AT-ATs to again seal it off and allow himself to find a way to fix his breathing apparatus and help himself. There, of course, he tries to get into a meditative state to slow his heart, slow his breathing, but he cannot find rest. The Wampas are there, pounding on the hull. Realizing there's no such thing as escape, he bursts out and begins to slay every Wampa around him. Much like the slaying of the Tuskens, the Wampas will now probably have their own mythos of the great dark god with the red sword. After killing all of them, he falls into a ravine, his last breath rasping out of his throat. But thankfully, he is found by a stormtrooper, taken back to the general ship, repaired, refurbished, and ready. Of course, walking by the general, he chokes him to death for his insolence and not having the ability to handle simple wampas, or even have apparently scanned Hoth to have seen the obvious creatures out and about. And that is where Darth Vader Black, White, and Red ends. And guys, again, what an absolutely gorgeous way to wrap up these comics. And I am super excited that we got such a really awesome deep dive into the power and ferocity of Lord Vader. Well, guys, thank you all so much for stopping by. Make sure to hop down below, hit the like button, comment, and subscribe your favorite moments with Darth Vader. And I look forward to seeing you in the next Comic Communications. Have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, may the Force serve you